season came with its own blessings, and we have sweets, and they love it. So anyway, so a few people got wind of it in 2019 that we were doing this thing. Well, welcome a few of them. We did 500. 2020, obviously it was bleak, it was dreadful, nothing was doing anything. We thought, you know, let's tell people about it, let's offer it. We can make up boxes and sort of deliver them to the school, and then they can do it. We had a video of how to do it and what it meant. We did 1,700. 2021, we did 3,030. And I'm really hoping that the maths doesn't follow, because I don't think I can cope with 6,000 oranges in my car. But it's been brilliant, and my sister teaches beginner English at the Institute of Adult Education, and I think one of the years, I think it was 2019, it was an election year, and so it was just a snap election, all the schools were closed where we had been having bookings, and she said, oh, come in, because my learners are still here, come in and do it with them, we'll love it, great. And then a lot of them, they didn't speak any English, but funny enough, they'd seen this, and they were trying to explain that their child had brought one home. You know, this is mostly people that are not Christians. You know, there's a lot of them from Afghan refugees and things like that. And they were learning, they knew about the Christian, and their child had explained to them the meaning of the Christian. So it is a really good thing to put in the hands of kids, because then they go back and disseminate that to other people. And then we've also got this nativity set. We've had to get another one donated. Because the original one is looking a little bit floppy, but we bring that in, and 600 reception class children were able to engage with that and hear the story of the nativity, which is lovely. Prayer space in schools, so 1,350 kids pass through a prayer space in schools. Oh, hello, that we've done. And last year, which is really, really a great thing. And like, so for example, Good Mays, who are near here, we did one in year 6 for the leavers, and they liked it so much. And we've already done last week, this week, it's still Sunday, yeah, year 5 and year 6, so the new year 5 and year 6, we want a prayer space, come back and do a prayer space, so they really want it. And yeah, so what's the next slide of my album? What else do we do? So team building and higher things, do this a transition thing. That's something we specifically need to thank you for with the Literature Trust, because we used to use a resource, and the money was from Scripture, and the cost of the resource was going up and up and up. During the pandemic, we decided to create our own resource, and some teachers were commenting that they wouldn't mind using the resource, but it wasn't very diverse. The children representative didn't seem very diverse, and they'd like something a bit more reverent. So we decided to create our own. Since then, and with the continued support of the Literature Trust, we've managed, because it's cheap to create your own, we've managed to really get it wider. So 2,700 copies were given out this year, and it's got the story of David and life in it, and it's contextualised into kind of what's in your hand, and you have faith, and you can be healthy even if it looks like there's something massive standing in your way. Just quickly, because it's actually not on the slides anyway, but I just wanted to tell you a little bit about South Park School and how we're getting there. It's really good. At the moment, we're running a 6-week block on how do the stories of Jesus inspire Christians. So we're going in every Tuesday morning to the school to work with year 2. There's every likelihood that we'll be called in. I said we don't do the run up to Christmas and the run up to Easter because it's just really busy anyway. So the next half term is from January to February, to work with a different year group. We did 3 blocks last year with South Park, so 3 year groups. We did Justice and Poverty, How Can Religion Help to Build a Fairer World? That would be interesting. And we did Why is Jesus Important to Christians with year 3. So we worked in depth with them, which is really lovely. And also, I had text message on Friday that the head of RE at South Park had seen our Facebook status about doing prayer spaces at Good Mays, and was interested, was asking about it. So it would be really nice to get into South Park to do a prayer space. we do? Oh yeah, team building or mentoring. So we provided 85 hours of pastoral mental health support in schools last year, and we're booked in to do that again, at least in one school. And everything we do is subject to funding, to be honest. So yeah, the need is absolutely massive, and it's getting massive. I don't know if you read yesterday or today, or yesterday or before, that they're thinking of cutting 300 million from the education budget to help with the ongoing crisis. But I don't even know where 300 million would come from with the education budget. It's not kind of, it's not massive anyway. But schools want this stuff, and we can provide it for free. But everything is subject to funding. And the more funding we get, the more work we can do. But our funds have actually reduced by 25% since the pandemic, and our work has been constant, which means that we're eating away at our. We had a couple of legacies, which was amazing, about 4 or 5 years ago, and we've used that as a buffer. The buffer is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and quite quickly this could disappear. So it's actually getting quite sort of like the moment. Like we need people to catch the vision of how important this is, and what a massively wide open door we've got in schools. Because I think as well, so say we folded, I think 30 years ago it was easier, well I don't say it was easy, I don't think it probably was easy to get this off the ground, but it was probably easier with the people that were around then and what happened. And then obviously we've got a reputation going that's 32 years strong, but to get something like this off the ground again, if it folded, it would be really difficult. So that's a current massive concern for us. Yes, that's how I think. Oh yeah, we had a quiz evening. If I'm a bit worse for wear this morning, because I was quiz master last night and I got home about 11 as well. But it was really lovely. So yeah, we'll probably have another quiz evening next year. Do come, do bring your friends, be prepared for invitations. That's really good. Right, okay, so I do really love talking about my work and what I do. Okay, it does get a bit when we're a bit like worried about the money and stuff. But I do love telling people what their donations have achieved within Redbridge. But you know what I really like doing even more? I really like talking about Jesus and talking about the Bible and telling stories, okay? So we're going to have, sometimes when I come here, by the way, it's also Harvest Festival, and I don't know why I didn't ask, but this is a bit of a harvesty theme. It's fine, don't worry. It's generally harvest. Around, that's okay. So, I want 2 volunteers, okay? Okay, right, 1 and 2, come on. So, right, you can, what's your names? Eleanor and Helen. Right, Eleanor, if you go with this team, hello, are you going to be in it as well? You're going to do it as well? That'd be lovely. And Hayley's this team, right, so, we need to have a bit of we're having a bit of a quiz. So we're not really evenly matched, but it's fine, okay? Are you gonna be the quiz master? Oh, the baby wants to join in as well. That's lovely. Right, okay, so we're gonna play the Harvest Festival hardest test of all. The hardest test of all, okay? So we're gonna have, you guys can help them, okay? So you can be player 1. And you can be player 2. Okay. The hardest questions. Okay. So. Sorry. Yeah, because it's different. Okay. So you can be player 1. Sorry. And you can be player 2. Wonderful. Okay. So Hayley, question 1. What is your name? Is that right? Yeah. Okay. 1 mark here. Okay. Question 2, player 2. What is your name? Eleanor, right, okay, was 1 each. 1 each. The hardest test of all, okay. Player 1. What is 5 plus 3? 8, is that right? Are we independently verified? Yes. It's 2-1. Okay, Eleanor. What is 2 plus 1? 3. Oh, it's even. Okay, you might need to get some help with this. How many books are there in the Bible? Oh, 66. Yeah, very good, wonderful. Okay, it's a random party trick I have, but actually, you know what? It's no use to anyone. I can recite them all in under 30 seconds in order. I'll show you in a minute, but you have to breathe as well. It's a bit weird. I don't know how I realised I could do that. It's strange. Right, okay. Question grade 2. Okay, what is the last book of the Bible? Now, they have help. What is the last book? Revelation, is that right? Oh, it's true, right, okay. Right, we're going to see who's the winner. Okay. Question 4. What is the name of this church? South Park Chapel, okay. Question 4. What school do you go to? St. Peter's, is that right? No. Can we independently verify this? Okay. It is a draw. It's a tie-break situation for the hardest test of all. We need to move to the envelope of destiny. Okay, so, right, we have some envelopes. We have 2 envelopes. Come here. Both of you, right? Okay, I genuinely don't know which is which, okay, but in the event of a tie-break, which funnily enough, I had anticipated happening, okay, in the event of a tie-break, you need to move to the envelopes, okay? One envelope says first prize, one envelope says second prize, and I genuinely can't remember which one is which, okay? So it doesn't really matter. It's the envelope of destiny. Close your eyes, both of you. Choose an envelope. Okay? Lovely. Okay. Hayley, which prize have you got? First prize. Which is Eleanor. What have you got? Second prize. Wow. Okay, so I need to remember. Okay, so right. Stay up there, stay up there. Right. This is your second prize. This is your first prize. Right. Let's see what's in it. Show them what's in it. So it's supposed to be like, they are representative prizes. Quite a lot of fruit. Okay, quite a lot of stuff here. Eleanor, what have you got? Let's have a look in your second prize. Two bits of fruit. 2 pieces of fruit. So a bit less than Hayley. Right, okay, now. We have a harvest collection. Even though it's not Harvest Festival here today, that's fine. So I wondered, would you like to give anything to our harvest collection? Have you got anything you could offer the harvest collection? Oh, wonderful. That's very generous. Look, lots of fruit. Wonderful. Thank you. Have you got anything you'd like to give to our harvest collection? 2 pieces. Really? Both of them. Okay, lovely. Thank you. Right, lovely. Well done, guys. Sit down. Collection. Yes. You did. Okay. You have to take me through that lesson afterwards. Okay. Out of Eleanor and Hayley, who gave the most? Do you want to say who gave the most? Do you think? Hayley did. Why did you say Hayley? She gave more pieces. Okay. But both of you, even though you were both very generous and you both gave 100%. Of what you had, you see. You both gave, even though one only had 2 pieces and one had so many, I don't even know how many there were, okay, you both gave a lot from what you had, okay, and that reminds me of a story, okay, that Jesus is involved with, okay, Jesus was there. Okay, so we have, I think I might need to pull you back because I wasn't quite sure how many kids we have, so, right. We're going to have a dramatic retelling of this, okay? This is for you. This is for you. Do you want to hold some money? Okay, do you want some? Lovely. Thanks so much. Right, okay, so one day Jesus was in a temple, okay, and people were giving their tithes and offerings to the temple funds. Okay, so Helen, what have you got? One person came up, okay, they gave their harvest offering, look, it's very swanky in a bag, look. Oh, impressive stuff. Thank you, there's more. Thank you very much for your generosity. Another person gave. Would you like to give some? There we go. Oh, yes, can you hear the twinkling and the jangling of coins? And then we had another person come up. Now, this person was a widow. Now, what is a widow? Anyone know what a widow is? Oh, a widow is somebody who sadly has lost their husband. So especially a long time ago when this happened, they would have been in a bit of a really terrible situation because there wasn't kind of like benefits and things. You couldn't really get other people to look after you. If you had lost your husband, some people might be kind to you and help you and give you some stuff, but mostly you didn't have loads of stuff, okay? So this widow, what have you got to give? 2 small copper coins. Do you want to put it in? Lovely. So she gave less money in real terms. Okay, so everyone can see, so she's come up, she walked away. But Jesus said something really interesting. Jesus said, this widow has given more. This widow, God is really impressed with this widow because although she doesn't have a lot, she still gave from what she had. So it's not always about giving the most, okay? And it's really difficult times at the moment. Sometimes people don't have a lot to give. But Jesus is saying that God looks at the heart of what you're giving, being generous. Okay, now, I was really interested, just to end this, I was really interested that our person bought a Nerf gun. Have you still got it? I wanted to commandeer it. Can I commandeer it?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Right. Oh, look, there we go. Right. So, I thought we'd learn a verse together, okay, but I do need someone to slap fruit with a Nerf gun. Right. Maybe you could share. Oh, yeah, that is actual real, apparently, that's an excavated mite, so what she gave. It's tiny little coins, okay? Lovely. Okay, so it's important to be generous, isn't it? Generosity is important. And generosity can come in lots of different forms, okay? Generosity can be financially generous, you can be spiritually generous, you can be generous with your time, generous in your relationships, okay? But generosity is important. If you don't have money, you have lots of other stuff, okay? So, right, do you know what, I've called the Nerf gun up prematurely. Hang on, so sit down a sec. Right. Sorry to raise the excitement and expectations of that. But then there was another story, wasn't there, about a boy who was generous. And it's a very similar story in a way. Because do you remember the story when a boy had 5 loaves and 2 fish? Okay, yeah? And what was Jesus able to do with that? Imagine, and everyone was really a big number that day, wasn't there? There was 5,000 men and women and children. So thousands and thousands of people were able to eat. But that boy could have said, well, I'm not giving away my packed lunch, I need it for later. Or he could have said, well, what's the point? I've only got 5 loaves and 2 fish, and there's massive people needing to eat. Couldn't he? He could have said, well, my little contribution is not going to make any difference at all. But he didn't. He offered what he had, and Jesus managed to do the rest and to meet the needs. Okay? So even if what you have is a few loaves and some fish, or 2 copper coins, or something small, by being generous and giving of what you have, you are still able, if you give it to God, you are still able to do amazing things with it. Right, okay, it's Nerf gun time. Oh, so it's not, anyway. I should remember my own PowerPoint, shouldn't I? Right, okay, there's another example from real life, okay, real Ilford life, okay. This guy in the middle, that's Jazz Atwell, do you know? The local councillor, okay. And then the other side of him is John Clifton, who used to be the leader of the Ilford Salvation Army, but has recently moved to Blackpool. And in the middle of these two, there is a boy called Malachi Justin. Now, these days, he's probably about 15, okay, I don't know how old he is, to be honest. But when he was 5, okay, when he was 5, he had a visit from the Tooth Fairy, okay. Now, this Tooth Fairy is a very generous Tooth Fairy. I don't know where they get these Tooth Fairies from. He's bigger than the one, better than the one that visits our house, but he got £5 from the Tooth Fairy. That's a lot, isn't it? He was given £5 from the Tooth Fairy. But he decided that he was going to do something interesting with that £5. Rather than buying, I don't know, some sweets or a magazine or something, he decided to give it to the Salvation Army in Ilford. And he wrote them a letter and he said, can you please use this to buy homes for homeless people, you see. Now, we all know, don't we, that homes cost a little bit more than £5, okay? That is not something, in no country can you get any shelter for the value of £5. But he was only 5, you see. He gave what he had, and John Clifton and the people of the Salvation Army, they used that and they inspired this giving, and different people came on board. And Project Malachi, they named it after Malachi. Project Malachi is now open and has been open for about 2 years and is accepting it's modular homes for homeless people. It's just quite small, like a studio flat, like a room and a loo and a shower and a place to have to make a meal, all in one room. But he started, he didn't have much in it. He didn't say, well, it's my money from the Tooth Fairy, I'm not going to give that. And he didn't say, well, it's only £5, so actually, I might as well do something else, because really, you can't build homes. I think that ended up being about a £6 million project, okay? But it is now functioning. If you go to like the cinema or like Nando's in Ilford, you can see that. That's quite a distinctive building, isn't it? Because it's quite colourful. So he decided to give what he had. And what he had was turned into something amazing. Now there's a verse about this, okay, in 1 Timothy. So I thought we'd try and learn it with the help of some fruit and a Nerf gun, okay. So, this is 1 Timothy 6:18, okay. So, do good, be rich in good works, be generous and ready to share. Like the widow, like the person at the feeding the 5,000, like Malachi, they were generous and they were ready to share what they had. Okay, so everyone please recite this verse after me. 1, 2, 3. Be good, be rich in good works, be generous, ready to share. 1 Timothy 6:18. Right, what we need to do, we're going to make it harder. Okay, so Helen, you can do the first flat. Can you please shoot some fruit with your Nerf gun up at the screen? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, right, okay, so you managed to get an orange and a strawberry, you're going to have the next go. Okay, so who can remember the verse? So, do good, be rich in good works, be generous, ready to share. 1 Timothy 6:18. Do you want to have another go? Do you want to go, Eleanor? Right, 1, 2, 3. Tell me when you've done it. Go. Okay. Right, okay. Right. Be good. Right, come on, right. We did it. You've got an orange bit there. So, right, everyone. Do good. Be rich in good works. Be generous. Ready to share. 1 Timothy 6:18. Okay, go for it. Okay, very good. So we're going to start saying, everyone, do good, be rich in good works, be generous, ready to share. 1 Timothy 6:18. Are we ready? Right, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. Oh. Right, come on. Do good, be rich in good works, be generous, ready to share. 1 Timothy 6:18. I think we might be on to the final round. Right, 1, 2, 3, go. Oh. Okay, right, come on. Do good, be rich in good works, be generous, ready to share. 1 Timothy 6:18. Excellent. Well done. Round of applause. But luckily we know that verse now, so that's really good. Lovely. Well, thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for your support and with our work. It's really, really appreciated. So thank you. Amen.